welcome back to another anime episode review. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. Today, we are back. Okay, look, I know that at the beginning of the Eminence and Shadow episodes, I like to start it off by saying we're back with peak fiction, right? If it's a jab at my overuse of the phrase. It's a jab at people's overuse of the phrase in general. It's a jab at the comedic nature of the Eminence and Shadow. But when I say that today's episode was not just amazing from an ironic, funny perspective, but was amazing from a writing perspective, I genuinely mean it. We're back with peak fiction because I love this. I love this. I have been waiting forever to get this scene. And there's some stuff that, I've seen some stuff online where some people were disappointed, right? I'll talk about that. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about my thoughts on the adaptation as a whole, right? Of obviously all the alpha and shadow stuff. But this was altogether an absolutely phenomenal episode. I loved it. I say that every single episode. I'm gonna say it every single episode unless they drop the ball. Look, we're 6 episodes in. This season is awesome so far. They're not dropping the ball. I really enjoyed all of this episode. So without further ado, let us just get straight into it. So we come into this episode and it's a scene where it's like, we got Rose and 664, 665, and they're reporting Alpha. Like, oh yeah, this John Smith guy, is kind of bad news, and we get that whole report, and it's funny. So obviously the light novels, I will say spoilers through volume 4 of the light novel. That's what I've read through. I'll probably reference stuff that happens in the future, but I really like this section of the story. So one thing that the anime does so well is give the background characters stuff to do. This episode, there's just a scene of Iris and Alexia just being Iris and Alexia, and that's so awesome because they're kind of neglected. look, I love Daisuke Aizawa. I love his writing. I think that his writing carries a lot of weight in a lot of times, especially in the way that Alpha versus Sid is written. I think that his writing is absolutely phenomenal. I will say the cast of the Eminence and Shadow is extremely large, and so I think that sometimes that can get kind of lost with the light novel, where you have so many characters and you only have so much time with them. But in the anime, really, the voice actors getting to bring these characters to life, the animators getting to bring these to life, really help. 664 and 665 are kind of quote-unquote non-characters in the story. They have their moments, but it's the little things, right? I enjoyed their interactions with Rose. I enjoyed Rose being more of a character. Obviously, she doesn't have her starring role. Her starring role will come in 2 episodes, right? That's her arc. That's her. She'll get her arc. But just really fun to see. Obviously, Alpha and Gamma are like, all right, well, let's send Delta. And then we get Delta going out, fun little fight scene between Delta and Sid, where he absolutely destroys John Smith, where he absolutely destroys her. And then she's like, oh, it's you, boss. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's me. I talked on it a little bit ago, a couple episodes ago, whenever it was like her and Shadow went hunting. Was that 2 episodes ago? 3? I think it was 2 episodes ago, because it would have been episode 1 of this arc. Whenever I talked about it. But I really enjoy Delta and Sid's relationship, where they're just both unashamedly each other. Look, Sid is himself. He puts up, the funny Chunibyo front in front of the rest of the girls, in front of the rest of Shadow Garden. But Delta, he's literally just himself. He's so genuinely himself. And Delta, she doesn't care. She doesn't understand all his grand stuff. She just understands that he's small. That's so true. He's strong. He's the boss. She listens to him, and it's just really fun to see. Obviously, I love Sid so much. I love his funny, edgy personalities. But it's also fun to just get to see him just be very genuine and just cut up with someone else. And just Delta's a fun character. The animators definitely have fun with their scenes. I think that there is a lot of Delta fans on the animation staff. say so. There's definitely a lot of fun being had with this animation, because it's very good. It's very cute. I do really like it. But like I said, I like this scene because I really see Sid and Delta, get along. They're a fun character dynamic there, and obviously just the hilarity in the situation itself, where he's like, okay, I got a super secret mission for you. You go this guy, go hunt him. He just got a straight ball. He did nothing. he did nothing. Sid just needed someone to be like, yeah, go do this for a little bit, and don't bother me. She ended this man's life on a whim. Obviously, this leads to the next point. I love this scene. I think that it's great, where they find like the evidence of the train car being blown up, and they find the tuft of Delta's hair, and obviously she hasn't returned, and so Gamma and Alpha and the rest of Shadow Garden are like, oh, Delta's dead. Like, John Smith has killed Delta. Rest in piss, bozo, as the cool kids say. One of the things I love about this arc as a whole, right? I've glazed this arc the past 2 episodes. I'm gonna continue to glaze it because it's glaze worthy, right? I can't stop glazing this arc. I love it so much. It's how serious so many of these moments are. Like, in the foreground of Sid doing just the dumbest things. Where the 7 shadows are coming to terms with the death of one of their sisters, right? This very serious moment where it's like, yeah, Delta's straight up dead. Mitsugoshi is looking like our money is going to collapse because they keep putting in counterfeits. There's nothing that we can do. Delta's dead. Like, how are we going to stop this John Smith fellow? Oh, wow, Sid's just like, hee-hoo, peanut. It's so good. It's so good. And then we get to see, obviously, where Getten has his little scene, getting whatever. And we get the meeting with Sid and Beta. I will say, I don't know if it was in the manga or not. But Sid's writing the notes because he's cold. And he's writing the notes. It's like, next time, close the window. I think that's anime original. I really like that, because it's like, well, why was he writing in the light novel, right? Why was he doing that? I will say one singular thing from this scene, like, it's not an anime problem. It's just the story itself. The one thing from this scene, I love it. It's hilarious. Writing these notes about, and Beta, he's finally taking me seriously. And he's just like, yeah, it's cold outside. And he's like, I don't follow, because he just genuinely doesn't follow. And she's like, I must have gotten something messed up. There's no way he could not be following. It's the same bit. I love it every single time. It never gets old. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's so good. The one thing with this scene that I'm like never been 100% on is Beta telling Shadow, like, oh yeah, we got the rule that, like, you have to encrypt everything. She's like, I know that I just wanted to let you know. Like, I don't think Beta would say that. Like, that would assume that Shadow isn't perfect, and Shadow is absolutely perfect. So that's my one thing. That's not on the anime itself. That's just on the material. But I think they did add a lot to it, and kind of, because it's like, well, why was he taking that? Yeah, because bro is freezing. It's so stupid, but it's so in line with the show and the character. It's perfect. It's absolutely, yeah. No, it absolutely makes sense. He would totally take notes on that. Yeah, just Beta asking about it. I think that's the one thing I've always been like, that's kind of out of character. I don't think she would do that. But hey, gotta move the story forward. I love where he's like once you can decipher this, you'll understand everything. She asked him to take care of John Smith, and he's like, oh no, he's like, I can't help. And she's like, oh yeah, sorry, forgive me. Good. So some more stuff with the cult happens. The Getten stuff is cool. It's not really important. The centerpiece of this arc The centerpiece of Eminence and Shadow is never the villains. I won't say never the villains. But the centerpiece of this arc, Getten, doesn't really matter. He only really matters to Yukime's story, and Yukime has definitely taken more of a backseat in the anime than I think she did in the manga and light novel. I could be wrong on that. I mean, ultimately, she is a pretty minor character, so I think dedicating that go up more like the Seven Shadows, or even, you know, putting in that scene of Alexia, you know, adding a little bit more to Rose and her little friends there. That's fair. I really like Yukime. You know, she's definitely played her part. I don't know. There's just something a little bit different, I guess, about her in the anime versus what I remember from the manga and the light. Now, I still like her. But now we get to the big scene, right? Alpha versus Shadow. This is, okay. This is just legitimately great writing, right? And in terms of the adaptation, right, there have been, I've seen people that haven't been 100% happy with how it was adapted. I really liked it. There is one singular thing that I would change about it. Maybe two. Maybe there's two things that I would change about it. I think that it was animated pretty well. Three things I would change about it. I just remembered. Obviously, this is a big moment where Alpha decides to come in herself and take care of John. Kill Delta. Shadow's not going to take care of him. Right. And as they're fighting, Alpha realizes that he's Shadow. This is where the first thing I would change comes in. Where in the anime, she realizes that he's... Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of different. Where she realizes, like, oh, from the dexterity of his movements with him using the wire, that he must be Shadow, and it reminds her of that's basically what happens in the light novel, I guess. Where in the light novel, she realizes it's him because he dodges her, like, attacks, like, extremely fine. That's not how it happens in the anime. At least, yeah. Length of its reach, the dexterity of his attacks. That's how it's worded. The way he moves. I think that it was a lot... I won't say like a lot better because it's kind of a meaningless change. But I kind of liked it more that it was like, because, you know, Shadow's whole thing is like moving as minimalistically as possible, just emphasizing that that's how Alpha knew it was him in the light novel. I think that was better than kind of how the anime did it. But I'm fine with how the anime did it. That's just something that, like, you know, if I had to change stuff, I'd change that. Second thing that I would change is in terms of Alpha saying, I don't understand. Right, it's because she just asks why, and so, you know, she's like, where are you? How could you do this, Shadow? And he says, you know, I'm John Smith now. And she says, Delta, what did you do to Delta? And he's like, I sent her to a faraway place, yada yada. And she's like, I don't understand. I can't understand you, right? You know, I can't. Maybe you understand it, but I can't. I can't do the things you do. You know, like, I want to support you, right? Her whole little spiel. It's good. It's done well. I'm happy with it. If I had to change that, I would add it to where, one, I really liked how in the light novel it was more like her asking questions. He's just giving the most basic answers, like, oh, it's for the best. Like, why did you forsake your name? Because I wanted to. You know, what'd you do to Delta? It's a lot of questions with stupid answers, and she's like, yeah, you're not making any sense. I don't understand. And then because it's like, instead of just like the Delta thing, like it's. No, I think that it's just better that way to have more of like the specific, like, okay, I don't understand what you're talking about kind of thing. I like that dialogue a little bit more than what we were given. What we were given in the anime works. It's still good. I do like the light novel dialogue a little bit more just because it gives a little bit more. But it's fine with how it is in the anime. The other bit of dialogue that I would change here is in the light novel. She says, I'm dumber than you, so I'm dumb, so I can't understand the things that you do. I'm weak, and I can't be as strong as you, but I still want to support you. Like, the way that they worded it is fine in the anime. I think that the way it's worded in the light novel specifically gives more depth to it. That's just what I think. I think that we really get to see, I think the voice actor and actress in this really good job of portraying both of them. But I feel like I think that the dialogue in the light novel leads more to, and just kind of it being a little bit longer as well, leads more to really showing Alpha being on the absolute end of her rope, because Mitsugoshi's in a terrible position. Shadow, her one saving grace, has betrayed her. Delta might still be dead. She doesn't understand anything that he does, and she's on it. She's finally confronting him about it. I think that the dialogue, the way that it's written in the light novel, carries more of that weight. Anime, like I said, the anime was still good. I still really enjoyed the anime. I'm still very happy with the scene, but I think that it could have been a little bit better. I think that you could have portrayed that weight a little bit more. But ultimately, I was very happy with how it played out. Obviously, we get her going all out. She's like, I'm strong. This is where the final thing I would change comes in, where in the light novel, Sid is forced to use his sword, but he isn't forced to use his sword in the end. And I really liked him using his sword, because it kind of showed that, like, okay, Alpha isn't on Shadow's level. No one will ever be on Shadow's level except maybe Aurora. That is just an objective fact. Like it's the Eminence and Shadow. No one is going to beat Shadow. But making Shadow use his sword, or like the way that it was written, I felt like showed more of like, yeah, Alpha is no pushover. Like if John Smith was his own person, she would have beaten him. And that's because it's like, yeah, obviously she can't beat Shadow, but she did beat John Smith. But in the anime, she didn't beat John Smith. So he used martial arts instead of his sword to blow her away. That is probably the one thing, like, absolutely wish they had done differently. It's just, I liked Alpha being able to beat John Smith, because it showed how strong she is, how worthy she is to be the leader of Shadow, the number 2 of Shadow Garden after Shadow himself. I think that I think they should have made him use his sword, just to kind of show that. I saw people get upset over not including the you're strong or you've grown strong line. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them not including that. Obviously, Shadow here is still in his persona of John Smith. And so he's, not really doing that. Obviously he's not taking anything seriously. This is obviously a very, very serious scene for Alpha, but he's not taking anything seriously. I'm fine with them not having that line, and I also like them not like having her out. I like her being completely blown off the train by him, and then she has to watch helplessly as he moves forward without her. Like, she's just staring at his back again. And I kind of liked that almost better than how it was where he knocked her out. I kind of liked it where, like, she was powerless to stop him to move forward with him. And he kind of prevented that too. So I did like that. Honestly, I liked that more than what was in the light novel and the manga. But I still really enjoyed the rest of it. I mean, it was a phenomenally executed scene. Obviously, this is the big Alpha scene. What other characterization does she get? This is kind of low key the Alpha arc. It kind of is. I really wish we got to see more of her. She's a really interesting character that I wish we got to see more of her interactions with Sid and more of her experiences. I really wish that of the characters we get to focus on, she was kind of more of a focus time. Because this is one of my absolute favorite, if not my favorite scene in the and that's why I was kind of like, to say, criticizing it a little bit, because I don't think it'd be a stretch to call this my favorite scene in Shadow. I mean, there's so many good moments, but this is probably my favorite scene. And so you're always gonna have little minor things, little personal things that you think could have been done better. But overall, I'm extremely happy with how it was animated. Obviously, her being like, do you not need us anymore? And that being kind of devastating. it's an absolutely phenomenal scene. I really love it, getting to see finally Alpha's perspective on stuff. And then obviously just makes it all the sweeter at the end whenever Shadow is right, inadvertently. So, but he's he's right. He's absolutely right. And the rest of the episode is just Yukime's backstory with Geten. It's cool. I really like Yukime. Her backstory is sad. Obviously Sid in it is always funny. But like I said, I think she's kind of taken more of a backseat in the anime so far. I don't know why I feel like that, really. Maybe there's just a little less in the anime, I guess. But I kind of liked her character a lot more, like in the light novel. Not that I dislike her character. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I can't really explain that. Can't really go into too much depth on my feelings there because I don't understand it. Absolutely amazing episode. What more can I say, right? This bro sent her ass packing. She's gone. A great episode as always. We'll finish up the credit arc next episode probably, and then we get into 5 episodes, probably, I think 5 episodes of Oriana Kingdom. I am really looking forward. Like, that is, I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really good. Obviously the season's been amazing so far. Very happy with how this arc has been adapted. Very happy with how the scenes have been adapted. The anime adds a lot of its own flair to it, which I really enjoy. The anime almost feels different from the light novel itself, like in a good way. I really like how the anime adds to the Eminence and Shadow. And both mediums are absolutely worth a watch and a read to get like the full Eminence and Shadow experience. I really have enjoyed the anime. I really enjoyed this episode, obviously. Not many bits this episode, just genuinely talking about it, as opposed to last episode with Kyle, but that was fun. So with all that said, just found the video, then obviously there's something you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what your favorite part of this episode was. And if it wasn't Alpha versus Shadow, you're wrong. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for watching. I certainly hope that you all enjoy, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.